morning.
Morning.
And welcome to Unity Spiritual Center, Spokane. To all the friendly faces here in the sanctuary, as well as a big welcome to our worldwide online community. So nice to have everyone here. Here at Unity, we are all about transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world. My name is Sally Sledge, and I get to be platform assistant today. First order of business, as usual, is to take out your phone and make sure on the upper part of the left side, it's pushed to silent, please, for the service. And those of you online, you don't have to worry about that stuff. That's one nice thing. As always, we want to begin our time together by sharing our opening affirmation. With me, please. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. This is Unity's foundation principle. It's just like the most important guiding idea for us here at Unity, that there is one presence, one power, and one life living through us, through and as each one of us. So this morning, our spiritual leader, Bonnie, Reverend Bonnie, will talk to us about the generative power of gratitude. And our musical guest is our Beth Rainey, right over here. And our song leaders will be Rick and Michael, Rick Hutchins and Michael Herzog. As they come up, I will say that they will be followed by Chaplain Theodora with the reading and the opening prayer.
God's peace in my life. I am so grateful for God's peace in my life. I am blessed, I am blessed, I am blessed, I am so blessed.
We're getting crowded this morning. That's a good thing. We're just inviting people to come forward and fill in some of the front seats if you'd like. Thank you.
Well, I have an embarrassing confession to make. I was in such a hurry this morning, I ran off and left it. What do I do? So, unfortunately, we'll skip the reading, which was beautiful, and we'll just pray. So let's close our eyes. Take a deep breath. Father, Mother God, I thank you for being here with your wonderful love and calming presence. I know that whatever my little mind tries to do to sabotage me, you do not let it happen. You are always here with the one mind and with your great love. You always inspire us, give us the thoughts, the angel thoughts that we need moment by moment. We can always fall back on that truth that you made us in your image and likeness. And whatever you are, we reflect. And whenever we have a thought unlike what you would think, we can reject it and say, no, I hold to truth, to the one presence, one power, one activity in our lives. God, the good, omniscient. Thank you. Amen.
I am so grateful for music in my life, so this is Where the Music Comes From by Lee Hoybe for you this morning.
Where it's now. I want to be with the friends of Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Beth. I love having guest musicians here, and I love Scott here. So it's just so lovely that in Spokane we have such a rich group of powerful musicians, you being one of them, Beth. So thank you so much for being of service today. Really appreciate it. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk today. This is so good. What a good topic. And this is one of those things that most of us already know. We already know that we're different when we're grateful, right? And yet, I am going to share with you what you already know, and I'm going to invite you to receive it from your high God self heart. And just kind of like a refresher, like when you go to your annual checkup and the doctor says fruits and vegetables are good for you, I'm going to share with you that gratitude is essential for spiritual living. And so I want to start by saying that affirmative prayer is the foundation of New Thought teachings, which are the Center for Spiritual Living, or Science of Mind, or Religious Science, and Unity. And affirmative prayer was a healing practice that was done in the late 1800s, continuing to today. And in this practice of affirmative prayer, it includes affirmation, it includes training the mind into knowing the truth of God as the good and the only, and connecting as our God self with the big God self, with the field, with the source, with the creative mind, with whatever name that we choose to give it. And in that, knowing that it is gratitude that manifests that affirmation that is spoken. So in both religious science and in unity, manifestation does not happen in prayer without gratitude. And so we become grateful before something happens. So gratitude we typically experience after something good has happened, and we can prime the pump that way. But the power comes when we realize that we first are grateful and we speak truth and allow that to be made real through us and therefore in our life. So I want to welcome all of you in person to Unity Spiritual Center, those of you online. Thank you for your divine presence. We're all here playing together in the field. So what I would like you to do right now, whether you're here or online, is to just close your eyes for a minute, gather your thoughts, and come up with 3 things you're grateful for and just speak it out loud. We're not listening to your individual voice, but you're listening to you. So think of 3 things. My 3 things today are that it's fall without snow, that Barbara Streisand's autobiography just dropped and I bought it, and that Tuesday we have a meditation group that goes so deep and it feeds my soul. So let's go ahead and speak out loud 3 things you're grateful for. Go ahead. All right, now I invite you to close your eyes again. I'm going to read from the book Science and the Spiritual Practices by Rupert Sheldrake. Rupert Sheldrake is the botanist who discovered the morphogenic field, and I love reading his work. So go ahead and just close your eyes and take this in and feel what he's saying here. He says, as soon as we stop taking almost everything for granted, we begin to realize that we can be grateful for almost everything. We only exist because our ancestors survived and reproduced successfully, right back to the origin of life. As babies, we were totally dependent on other people for our survival, and simply to have survived to the age we are today took the support of hundreds, thousands, even millions of other people. Farmers, teachers, builders, electricians, plumbers, doctors, nurses, dentists, grocers, and people who design and make our computers and our smartphones, the pilots and the crew who fly us from one part of the world to another, and so on. Then all of us are here only because our planet exists. And life on Earth has evolved over billions of years to give us this living planet on which we totally depend. In turn, our planet is part of the solar system, and all life on Earth depends on the sustaining light from the sun and its gravitational pull, which keeps us in a steady, life-friendly orbit. Then the sun depends on the galaxy. It is one cell in the vast body of the Milky Way, along with several 100 billion other stars. At the center of the Milky Way is a supermassive, hyperenergetic galactic center shooting out ionized matter in vast electric and magnetic fields, with magnetic field lines and electric currents in the plasma of the galactic arms millions of light years away, sustaining the environment of our sun. Our galaxy is part of a galactic cluster, which astronomers call the Love Call group. It consists of more than 50 galaxies and is in turn part of the Virgo supercluster. The electromagnetic radiation permeating the universe includes the light from all of these stars and galaxies, some of which we can see with our naked eyes. And coming invisibly from all directions is the fossil light from soon after the Big Bang, known as the cosmic microwave background radiation. Our scientific creation story tells us that the entire universe originated 13.8 billion years ago in the Big Bang, starting very small, less than the size of the head of a pin. It has been growing, expanding ever since. Since ancient creation myth speaks of the origin of all things and the hatching of the cosmic egg, and the contemporary scientific account is similar. Everything comes from a common source, and everything is related. Without this primal creative event, there would be no universe and we would not exist. And if the properties of subatomic particles, atoms, and the force of nature had been even slightly different from what they are, there would be no life as we know it, and we would not be here today to think about it. So take another big, nice, deep breath. And in this recognition of the bigness and the wholeness of what it takes to have us here, I want you to think about 3 things that you right now can be grateful for about your future, even though it has yet to take place. And when you're ready, speak from that field of gratitude those 3 things that you're grateful for that haven't happened yet. Go ahead and open your eyes and start talking. Fabulous. And here's a clip from Joe Dispenza on gratitude.
If you truly practice like that level of gratitude or embracing the emotions of your future, you're literally, if you understand, you're changing your gene expression when you're doing it. You're strengthening your immune system when you do it. All of a sudden, you start to see all these fundamental benefits that are a side effect of your efforts. It's going to become something that you want to do all the time, something that you look forward to. And I think that that's why we're here. I think, and when you truly get to that point, like it's an unlearning. We're hypnotized. We're conditioned into believing we need a reason for gratitude or joy, and consumerism makes it really clear, right? Until I get that, I'm this. But what if you've been creating, and every time you have the thought of your future, you've done it so many times it makes you feel like you're connected to your future? Well, that's a conditioning as well. If you have the thought of your future and you feel the lack that it's not there, then you're back to the victim, right? But if you can have the thought, and the thought actually produces, just like fear, the thought of something terrible happening in your life creates the feeling of fear, the thought of something wonderful in your life creating the feeling of gratitude. Then when you think about your future, you begin to emotionally condition your body into that future. Now here's the payoff. Thoughts are the electrical charge in the quantum field, and feelings are the magnetic charge in the quantum field. And how you think and how you feel broadcasts information and energy into the field. So
into the collective field.
Into the unified field. So the question is, what are you broadcasting every single day? So then, we know that once you begin to self-regulate and you begin to open your heart, just in that small exercise that we did, the act of creating that kind of coherence in your heart begins to produce a measurable magnetic field up to 3 meters wide. That heart is actually producing a resonance. That energy, that frequency carries information. And when your heart is open, this is our center of oneness. This is our center of wholeness. This is the union of polarity and duality. This is the connection of opposites. So when the heart starts to become activated and we start to feel whole, and it begins to put that energetic pattern into the field, that frequency can carry the thought of your health. It can carry the thought of your wealth. The frequency of suffering carries different thoughts. It can't carry the thought of health.
So there was so much packed into that 2 minutes that I want to break it down for us together. First of all, he says that gratitude changes our gene expression for the future. What if there are 2 or 3 things that you could do in your life that would completely open you up to living the life that you desire and that you want to express while you're on this planet for such a short time? And what if one of those things is gratitude? Gratitude has powerful side effects, he says. I think gratitude is why we are here. And I change that to, I think gratitude is why we're alive. So what if our purpose became the purpose of showing up and being grateful? Then he said, I think it's an unlearning. And I put in, it's an unlearning from our habit of negativity. And I want to share with you a story that I didn't anticipate sharing today, but it came up this morning on my morning walk. I was listening to Reverend Michael Beckwith's Take Back Your Mind podcast, and he was interviewing Reverend Ike's son and Mark Victor Hansen. How many of you guys are familiar with Reverend Ike and his work? Okay, there's a couple of us here. So Reverend Ike, I learned about Reverend Ike because I had a spiritual center down in Arizona, and my assistant used to be Reverend Ike's assistant. And so she brought me his library of CDs, and I would listen to his CDs. And there's people who in their presence you feel different. You can feel the energy field that they carry around. And then for those whose presence you aren't even in, but you hear them or you see them and you get a transmission, he's one of those guys. So Reverend Ike is a black man born in Jim Crow South, and he was told he couldn't own any land. He was told he would be in poverty his whole life. He was told all kinds of things, and then he said, oh, no, wait a minute. I'm a son of the Most High God. I am prosperous. And he ended up growing a ministry that was so significant in New York City that it was called the Palace. And inside were gold walls and were crystals, those big, huge, gigantic crystals. Before they were a thing, they were all over the place. And he dressed snazzy, and he had 16 Rolls Royces. And he owned land all over the United States because he was told as a child he couldn't own land. So he became a mass landowner. But the thing, and he became extravagant, not because from our eyes today, we would look at that and say it is excessive, but he wanted a place that people could walk into and feel like kings and queens. And these are people in the inner city of New York who didn't have that experience in other locations. So he was giving them an environment that they could step into and be more and experience more. And in this talk, Mark Victor Hansen said that he was working with Buckminster Fuller, and he got involved in his geodescent dome business, and overnight, Mark Victor Hansen lost $2 million and wanted to kill himself. And someone said to him, you need to go to Reverend Ike's center, you need to go to the palace. And he said he walked in there, and he was told that the riches of God lived within him. And he walked in there and he was told that he could be and do anything he wanted on this planet because there was no limitation of God's good. And he was trained to be able to own his own creative magnificence. And as we know, he has become the #1 bestseller of books in all times, not just our lifetime, with 59 books on the bestseller list. And it's because I just kept saying, there is no limit to God, and you are it. There is no limit to God, and you are it. So this is the funny story that came to my mind. On one of those CDs that my assistant had given me, I was driving on a long road trip with a girlfriend, and we put it in. And he was talking about, do every single thing you can to not be around negative thinking. Get that out of your life. Just as gratitude is generative, negativity destroys. Get negativity out of your life. Do whatever it takes. So he's talking in a sermon, and he's talking to a predominantly black audience back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and the women wore wigs. It was a thing, and they would go to the beauty parlor and they'd get their wigs all cleaned up and made pretty and taken care of. I've never owned a wig, so I only imagine what they do. But he said, he goes, this is the deal. If your hairdresser is a place where gossip happens and where there's negativity, he said, drive by your hairdresser, take that wig off and throw it out the window and say, I'll be back this afternoon to pick it up. He goes, do not step into a negative environment. And so I often laugh because when I'm thinking of leaving negativity behind, I think of pulling a wig off my head and throwing it out and saying, I'll be back later. You know, I'm not stepping into that negativity. I'll be back later. So it is an unlearning. And so there's a part of us that wants to fit in so desperately that we have been willing in our lives to put up with negativity. We've been willing to put up with low vibration. We've been willing to ourselves do woe me, poor me, ain't this awful, when the reality is that we are the presence of God in form, and gratitude, living in a place of being grateful that we have this bodysuit to wear for just such a short period of time, but while we're here, we can be a difference and make a difference because we are connected to the only thing that is, which is God the good. So Joe Dispenza says, think about something wonderful happening and create gratitude before it has even happened. Another pointer, he says, thoughts are the electrical charge in the field, and emotions, and I say gratitude, are the magnetic charge in the field. So it's a matter of having the thought married to the powerful generative emotion of gratitude. And then he said that the coherence with the thought and the mind, or the mind and the heart, produces a resonance in the field. And many of you know that my favorite word for God is the field. I just loved when quantum physics came out and said that all there is a field, and it's everything that comes out of the field. It's the same language that we do with religion. Everything is God, and everything comes out of God. So I love the word the field, and I love to say that in the field are many addresses. And how we get to where we're going in a field full of addresses is through our vibration. So it is our vibration, it is our resonance, it is that 3 feet that Joe Dispenza talks about of coherence that assigns to the field what it is that we are moving toward or who we are becoming. So Dr. Daniel Amen, who is fairly popular as a brain scientist, and he is a psychiatrist, he did a study with a woman in, what are those things called that you lay in? MRI. He did MRIs with a lady, and he had her thinking negatively, and then he had her thinking thoughts of gratitude. And what he could tell from the slides, the imaging, was that negative thinking decreases blood flow to the brain, and he said it makes it harder for us to think. So imagine if just being grateful opens our blood vessels in our brain and has us think more clearly. Neuroscientist Glenn Fox says benefits of gratitude: improves resilience, lowers stress, diminishes pain, decreases inflammation, regulates blood pressure, helps with the heart, assists with staying in the moment, and it creates a bond with others. And I love that. I hadn't thought of that before, but it really does. It is actually assigning neighbors in our field. How's that? And so what we know is with our thoughts, we are either creating toxic energy in our body, or with our thoughts, we're creating tonic energy in our body, healthy energy. And so what neuroscientist Glenn Fox, along with the entire field, says is that part of well-being includes being grateful. Here's a clip from Reverend Michael Beckwith.
Gratitude expands our perception. It's like if we're focused and worried about something in our life, then all of our attention is going towards a possible worst-case scenario. And we experience that biologically, chemically. So if we shift our attention and go to one little, it doesn't have to be monumental, one thing to be grateful for, our perception begins to expand. So it begins with finding one thing. And then something begins to happen, and you're able to take your attention away from the thing, and you're in a field of gratitude. It doesn't have to be about anything. You're just in this field. That's a higher state of consciousness. Yeah. And then when you're in this field, I don't know if people have ever experienced this, but I know that my mother would sometimes say, not to me, but to my brothers, if you don't stop crying, I'm gonna give you something to cry about. Well, the law works like this. If you don't stop being grateful, then the law will vibrationally match and give you more and more to be grateful for.
Give you something to be grateful for.
Absolutely. Yeah. So in the beginning, you find something to be grateful for, and then you grow into just being in gratitude. Yeah. It doesn't have to have an object at all. Yeah. It's a very mature state of gratitude. You wake up, you become grateful. You go through traffic, grateful you got a car. Mm-hmm. You know, you're in line, you're grateful you're in the supermarket line, you can buy some food, whatever it is. Yeah. Then after a while, you're just in a state.
You use it as a cue to
Right.
direct you into this place of gratitude.
Right.
You know, quantum science is showing us that it's a vibrational field, and this, when it comes to healing, is so paramount because we have to realize that there's a vibrational radio station that we can dial into
Yes.
where healing happens, and a different radio station that we can dial into where healing does not happen.
Right.
And people don't realize that it starts with us. It starts with where am I dialing my frequency into, and does healing get to happen on that bandwidth, or
Absolutely.
does it not?
So that was Dr. Sue Morter with Michael Beckwith. So here's a review from this short snip, is that perception expands with gratitude. And I like how he said, if your perception is small and you want to grow it, practice gratitude. Just find one thing as a key and you can enter into higher consciousness. Grow into gratitude without having an object of your gratitude. So the levels based upon consciousness of stepping greater and greater into gratitude is at first we're thankful for what is. And then we practice, when we're thankful for what is that we like. Then we practice being grateful for everything, including and especially the things we don't like. We get it all covered in that energy of gratitude. And then lastly, we can trust the presence of God, and we're just grateful for whatever. And so they're three vastly different levels of consciousness, but they all share the practice of gratitude. I like that it said that gratitude heals, that quantum science shows us that it's a field, and then later on, I only took a little clip, but later on, Reverend Michael says, gratitude is infinite. And what that means to me is that there's no end to what we can be grateful for. So research from Indiana University says they researched 293 adults who were seeking therapy for depression. They had 3 different groups. They had psychotherapy only, they had psychotherapy plus journaling, doing expressive writing, and then they had psychotherapy plus thank you notes. They checked back in with these 3 distinctly different groups at 4 weeks and at 12 weeks. And what they recognized and noticed was there was a profound shift for those people who wrote thank you notes. And then the second group that had a shift were the ones who were expressively writing what their feelings are and being in touch with themselves. And then lastly, the impact was psychotherapy alone. But what you and I know is that psychotherapy is powerful because somebody is listening to us. We have a witness. There's a witness consciousness. So even that is good, but you take that and you supercharge it with gratitude, with thank you notes, and science from that one research project tells us that it has the strongest of all 3 for catapulting us further. So this is what I want to close with, and this is your spiritual practice if you choose to do it. Back in the 90s, I taught spiritual practices at the Center for Spiritual Living in Seattle. And this is before any of this research showed up at all, but I personally had known this power. And so I gave this assignment the entire 12 weeks that we were in class. And this was the assignment. I had people write a thank you note to people that they knew. So an example of that for me would be thanking Gay for the many outfits she has purchased for me that are so beautiful for me to wear and that I love. It would be sending a thank you note for birthday presents, Christmas gifts, etc. Okay? So it is a practice of once a week writing thank you notes to somebody we know, somebody who impacted us in a positive way, and that we know that they will receive the card. The second is one removed. I would have people write to their hairdresser, thank you for cutting my hair for years, you've made me look beautiful. Or to the grocery store clerk at Trader Joe's who spent extra time, who helped package the bag in a certain way that makes you feel good about the food you purchased. Whatever the issue is, it's kind of one removed. You don't really know the person. You may never see them again, you might, but you're just saying, hey, thank you, one removed, that you made an impact in my life. And then the last one, which was super powerful, is to write a letter to someone who you will never meet and who probably won't even get the letter and who definitely won't respond. And so during that 12 weeks, and I practiced this for years, I sent letters to Bill Gates and to Steve Jobs, thanking them for creating the computer because it made my life easier. I wrote letters to Oprah back in the day when she had her big TV show to thank her for doing positive programming. I wrote letters to the head of car companies saying how much I like my car, and it was a process of me being grateful and somebody maybe not even getting it, but letting them know, letting the field know, letting my own heart know that I am tracking the good in my life. And so if you choose to do this, I tell you, it is really, really fun. And you can do it now online with rated restaurants or whatever, but there's something about sitting and having the energy come out of your own body through your hand in a writing and sending it in the mail that is so unusual today that it's extraordinarily powerful. We at the center here continue to get online thank you notes from people online who have had transformations based upon the work we do here. And so for those of you online who have sent them, I want to thank you. I pass them on to the board, and we revel in the fact that we no longer are a spiritual community that is Spokane only located, but that what we do here and who we are here impacts the world literally nowadays, figuratively, energetically, and literally. And so I want to thank all of you who have let us know how you have been touched, and I want to thank all of us here for showing up and making this center a place where people can show up and can know that they are the good of God in form and that they are not limited by anything other than their own thoughts. And so let's pray. And I'm hearing the song that Scott wrote running around my head. I am so blessed. And so I just give thanks for each and every one of us here in person in this sanctuary between these multiple walls. And I want to give thanks for those of us who are online, who are a part of our community in a virtual and very real way. And I want to give thanks for this idea that came into someone's mind 125 years ago, that let's have a spiritual center in Spokane where people can come and know the capital T truth. This is a truth teaching. This is a teaching of God is and we are, and it's the same. And so I give thanks for all of the hundreds, thousands, possibly millions of people that contributed to making the center what it is today. I give thanks for each one of our families. I give thanks for this greater community, and I give thanks that this month we set aside the time in order to remember the power of gratitude. And for each one of us here, and for God the good as us, I give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown where feet may fail, and there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep. My faith will stand, and I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours and you are mine. Your grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fear surrounds me, you've never failed and you won't start now. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior.
Let us walk upon the waters. That's beautiful. Thank you, Beth. So I'd like to invite up whoever will be blessing the money with me. And this is our time of giving. When I listened to the interview this morning, Mark Victor Hansen has sold over 500 million books in his life. And he owns an energy, he said, $1 billion energy company that is converting energy from recycled materials. And he said every step of the journey he tithed. And I was walking, and I was thinking, how much money has Mark Victor Hansen given? Because he kept giving 10% in order to open himself to be a place for more to happen. And it inspired me. That's lovely. Anyway, it's time for us to have an opportunity to give. And as we give our money today, let's do so with a heart filled with gratitude. So whether you have an automatic giving plan, we're going to place our hands on our heart and just allow the energy that comes from that giving through the bank to bless every single entire person who works in that bank, to bless the originating place from which it came and to where it's going, and just allow yourself to feel that. If you're giving today in the form of money or a check, go ahead and place that on your heart and allow yourself to feel the just beautiful gratitude that you're giving this money with, so that what we receive at the center is just covered in immense gratitude. So those who are to bless the money with me, please come forward, and Beth is going to play music while we collect our giving today. Thank you. I'll do that afterward. Thank you. Well, it looks like today is out of order day. So let's go ahead and together bless our money that we gave with our prayer. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I give thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. And then let's go ahead and extend our hands and notice the energy coming from our heart, that coherent love energy that is so delicious. And let's point them, direct them towards this giving, and let's just give thanks for the giver. Let's give thanks that the giver felt impelled and called and compelled by their divine soul to say yes to giving to this idea called Unity Spiritual Center Spokane. And what I know is as we give, so too we receive, and so I know that each one of these givers is blessed. And I bless this money knowing that it is energy and form and that it is used to expand this message that God is good and we are it in form. Tag, we are it. And so I give thanks for this goodness, for this glory, for this love that has taken form as each one of us, and for our generosity of spirit. And for this I give thanks. And so it is. Amen.
Wow. It's kind of fun sitting up here next to her, I have to admit. Thank you so much. And now for one of my favorite parts of the service, because these words that we will say together are words that I recite in my head or out loud, not just on Sunday mornings. I truly say them a lot during the week, and I'll bet many of you do too. So would you please join me in the unity statement? Together, unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the presence of injury. Unity honors the many names for God and the many paths to God. For we know that's only one power, one presence, and one life. So whoever you are or wherever you are on your own spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Isn't that lovely? You are very welcome here. The folks in the sanctuary, and I'm also talking to you online. So if there's anyone here in the sanctuary who is brave enough to raise their hand, who is a newcomer, we have a blue welcome packet for you. If you would raise your hand. Oh, there's one right here. Is there anyone else I don't see from up here? And in that welcome packet is a certificate or a coupon for a free coffee drink at the barista stand, as well as some other goodies to look at. For those of you who are joining us online, who are new to our ministry, we encourage everyone to sign up for our e-news. It comes out every Wednesday. It's filled with what's going on in this building, and it's changing up all the time. There's so much going on during the week as well as on Sundays. And to get your email address on that mailing list, you can scan, look around for the QR code they have here, and of course it's around the center, or online, look for our website at unityspokane.org. We'd also like to connect with you on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Just search Unity Spiritual Center Spokane. Our chaplains today are Murphy, who is sitting right here in the Queen's chair, holding our service in prayer, and Theodora with a beautiful red hat. Theodora will be up front. If you would like to pray with someone, either for a celebration, something to celebrate in your life, or for something that's heavy on your heart, please come and talk to Theodora. Prayer is so important to unity. So we would like to encourage anyone who is in need of prayer but chooses not to come talk personally, you can fill out a prayer request form, which is found in the seat pocket in front of you, and then put that in one of the prayer boxes that are out in the atrium and in the back of the sanctuary. Thank you, Ray. I always forget that. Back in the sanctuary. And that prayer request form is looked at very seriously by the prayer team here locally, and then it is sent to Silent Unity, where the prayer team there holds it in prayer. So there's lots of energy that will be given to each request. And now we have news you can use with Tricia.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. All right, so we've got lots of good stuff for news you can use. Immediately following the service today in the library, we're going to have our new member orientation. You can learn more about Unity and get some of the ins that you're all dying to know, I'm sure, with all of our newcomers. Following that, this Tuesday, we have midday meditation that Reverend Bonnie had spoken about earlier. And we also have increase your enjoyment in life. That is in the evening. Busy day on Tuesday, it's $20. You can go ahead and sign up through eNews. Following that, on Wednesday, November 15th, is that last showing of The Illusion of Money. It's in the chapel. no cost for attendance. And then we are really excited to announce our Ringing in the Holidays concert. That's going to be on December 1st. That is a Friday. Please come see us in the store after the service and purchase your tickets, or you can also do that through eNews as well. We are very excited. We have lots of folks featured for music, and it's just going to be a great time. Next month in December, we have our Wednesday gatherings. It's going to be the 6th and the 13th. We'll be doing some Christmas caroling on the 6th and some meditation together on the 13th. And then finally, for the last bit of news, is going to be our sound bath on December 16th. You can also sign up through eNews. That is $30 per person. I hear it's amazing. I'm going to be attending my first time, so I hope some of you will sign up too, and I can see you there. I think that's it for our news this week. Yeah, great.
See, I told you there's lots going on around here. I believe our children have arrived. Or my script tells me, the children have arrived. Wow, our kids have arrived and are continuing to arrive. And so, wow, what a community here. Let's give them all our children's blessing. Be the love you are, sing the song you hear, share your joy of life with people far and near. And the same for ourselves. Be the love we are, sing the song we hear, share our joy of life with people far and near. Lovely. And now, kids and youth, please go back to the people who brought you. And as the little ones go back, we would like to, since yesterday was our National Day of recognizing our veterans, today at Unity, we want to recognize them also. So if any of you in the audience has served in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, Merchant Marines, would you please stand? Our Uniteens have a token of our appreciation for you. A heartfelt thank you to all of you. Thank you so much. And now we will have the prayer of protection Please stand and followed by the peace song. Excuse me. Alrighty then. I'll have to read it off the screen. It's not here. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well, and that's the truth.